Okay, so we've got the general idea of the math behind the cap rate and valuations. So it's critical because this is how we're going to determine what the after repair value is going to be and what we can sell it for. If we can sell it for a profit, what kind of loan the bank's going to give us. Can we refinance out the investors? Can we refinance out our own cash? Or are we going to lose money, right? Are we overpaying for this property? So how do we determine what the market cap rate is for our area? Okay, so we're going to look at the area first because the cap rate is determined by the area. Cap rate is a measurement of risk. Okay, so if you have a property, let's say it's in rural Alabama, and it's in a small town of 3,000 people. And the population has gone down by 10% in the last 5 years. Population going down, and there are no major employers. Are you going to pay top dollar for this property? Okay. So top dollar meaning a low cap rate. A top dollar price would be a 6 cap, a 5 cap, a 4 cap. And we say this because if you think about it, if you can only make 4% on the whole purchase price and your debt is higher than that, you're actually losing money. There's no way that this property is going to cash flow unless you can dramatically increase the profitability of this deal. So anytime the cap rate is getting below the debt rate, right, the going loan rate that you can get for a commercial loan, you're getting into expensive territory. So if I'm looking at this deal in rural Alabama and they're trying to sell it to me at a 6 cap, I'm like, you guys are crazy. I'm not buying that. But if they're selling it to me at like a 10 cap or a 12 cap, right, I can buy it for $1 million and it's making 120K a year, I'm going to consider it, right? Because they're making it more worth my while because there's more risk. There's a lot of risk. All right. So let's take let's take a new example. Let's say it's in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I live in Somerville, but let's say Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. It's right outside of Charleston, and it's got population up by 20% in the last 5 years. It's got a high jobs. Boeing's moving here, or Boeing has moved here. Volvo just built a plant here. There's development going everywhere. People are investing in Charleston, and there's tons and tons of jobs. Average income is going up. Housing prices are going up. Rents are going up. This is a hot market. It's a good market. So my risk here is minimal, right? I love this. I would love to own a nice apartment complex in Mount Pleasant. Another thing that factors is the age, right? If it's brand new, then there's less risk, right? There's less risk of deferred maintenance and plumbing pipes busting and roofs leaking. If it's built in 1940, then there's higher risk of that kind of stuff going on. So the cap rate is risk. How much risk am I taking on? So the better the area and the newer the asset, the lower that cap rate is going to be because there's less risk on the deal. The higher the cap rate, the higher the risk. Okay. So how do we determine a cap rate for your specific area? What is the cap rate? Or not your specific area, but the area that you want to buy in. Okay. So here's a way to do it. You've got your competition. Check out what is your competition selling for. Look at the stuff that's listed, and you can also look at what has transacted and what cap rate it transacted at. There is a product called CoStar. It's a website. You can go to it. To get full access, you got to pay, but you can talk to brokers, right? Loan brokers and realtors, or commercial brokers. They have access to CoStar, and they can give you a report on what is transacted and what was the cap rate that it transacted at. That'll give you an idea. Okay. You can also look at, there's another website, apartmentloanstore.com. You can look at that. It'll give you different cap rates. It's pretty general, and it's pretty wrong, honestly, a lot of the times, but it'll give you an idea, right? You're getting multiple points of data. You can talk to lenders. You can ask the lenders in the local market, what is the cap rate? What have they seen? What are their properties appraising at? What are the appraisers saying that the cap rates are? They're a good thing. And then, your network, right? This is something that we offer in the deal room. It's a network of who owns in that area, who's familiar with that area, who's transacted in that area, who knows brokers and lenders in that area, that can help me out with some real knowledge on cap rates. And this number is extremely critical, right? And I'm going to show you why right now. So let's say that I'm buying something for $750,000, and in my business plan, I think I can make it worth $1 million. Okay. And so I think that the cap rate is 6, right? Let's say it's a 6% cap rate, and it's in the Charleston area, and I think it'll be worth $1 million, right? So what does my net operating income have to be to get that valuation, right? My NOI has to be $1 million times 6%, right? So that's $60,000. All right. If I can get my NOI to $60,000, then I can sell this property or refinance this property for $1 million. All right. So let's say I do that, and then I go to sell it, and I can't get that. All right. Let's say that, change this to my eraser. Let's just say that the cap rate is 6 or 7. Let's just say it's 7%. And I was wrong. I was a little too aggressive in my underwriting. Okay. Now my property with a $60,000 NOI. So I take the 60K, I divide it by 7%, and that gives me 857K. So now I'm almost 150K shy of what I thought this property was going to be. And I have to get my NOI to, what do I got to get my NOI to? Well, let's take 60,000 and divide that by 7%. I got to get my NOI to 70K, right? So you say, oh, well, no big deal. Just get your NOI up to 70K. Well, maybe you can't, right? Maybe those expenses are already trimmed up. The water is what it is. The taxes, the insurance, your rents are already at the top of the market. You've done your value add, and now you're kind of stuck because you thought that you were in a 6 cap and you weren't. You were in a 7 cap market. So it's very important to determine the correct cap rate for your area. And it's a bit of a, it's a little bit of a science. It's a bit of an art, and cap rates can change, right? As interest rates go up, that can affect the cap rate. Market conditions change, can affect the cap rate. So you want to be conservative with this number, but it's very, very important. And this is where it's super critical to have input from experts, right? Which is one of the things that we offer in the deal room. It's something that I struggled with. I go through courses and I'm like, man, is this right? Is this cap rate right? Am I making the right assumptions? I don't want to be off by $150,000. So, but this is the importance of signifying the cap rate, because it's going to determine what is my after repair or my stabilized valuation. What is the property going to be worth in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?